they are just going to knock your socks off. It's absolutely terrific display. It goes inside out, upside down. They do rolls, bumps, and all sorts. And during the course of the entire display, two wonderfully courageous girls, Kirsten and Emma, will be doing their other form of aerobatics on the top of those wings. Please welcome from Royal Flying Corps, Rentham Airfield, the Aero Superbatics team, the Wingwalkers. Taking us back to those years leading up to the war, when all the young flying aces were pretty much made redundant from operations, and there were a lot of surface aircraft that were cheap to buy as well, and together with an interesting story, I believe. Drop into the cockpits and hear him giving his commands, because alongside him, or behind him at the moment, is Brian Corns, and he's got Emma on board the top of his wing, and they will go through the first sequence of a series of formation flights before then just going a little more aerobatic. Terrific stuff. Of course, the girls, fearless glamour from those pioneering years, but these uprated safety and of course uprated performance aircraft as well, putting on a fantastic show. The aircraft being modified with extra ailerons and a bigger engine. You hear that rasp there, that is absolutely terrific. Oh, what a great photo opportunity. That is terrific stuff. Look at that marvelous not just for aesthetic reasons, but also for safety as well. And you'll be glad to know it's all environmentally sound. It's very much like safety. Whilst he was flying along, he crawled out on the wing. He's like that. And it was actually go supersonic when all the from the wing of one aeroplane to another, and then ended up getting a partner with the extraordinary name of Air, and both of them together this sort of flying to a few more adventurous extremes. Extremely well rehearsed, girls wearing safety harnesses as well, but despite that, getting out of those harnesses. Whilst waving, still hanging upside down in the stripes.
I've got a pale blue top on.
It's very competitive, would you believe, to get a job like this. Kirsten herself was describing how she literally just replied to an advertisement in the local papers up in Gloucestershire and was amazed how competitive it was. Her background, like so many of the girls doing this, was in circus. She was a trapeze artist, and putting all those skills to good use now in a slightly different genre. Coming into something of a tail chase as Brian takes up 20 feet replicating and just the sun just featuring all the aircraft today. Beautiful. Bringing all the pizzazz and romanticism to the bush flying environment that these aircraft sort of came from. Wonderful rasp, isn't it? Outstanding engine. That engine itself was designed back in the 30s. Immensely reliable, but very thirsty engine. And here you now see the girls perched on the leading edge in one of their favourite manoeuvres called the wind rider. And literally, you can just see them hanging onto the harness there. And there you go. Come on, you can't resist giving them a wave, can you? They're bobbing up and down out there over the ocean, waving over to you. And they're not quite in that final position I referenced there, but in this turn I suspect they'll put one foot down onto the cockpit, and that foot will be right in front of the pilots. The pilots, they're not connected by any digital voice. It is literally all done by hand messaging. Meanwhile, the second aircraft there keeping tucked up as close as possible the next morning for the next manoeuvre. Of course, not something you can easily do. All the aircraft you see as air pilots all have years and years of experience. And every spring they all go through these routines meticulously. So here we go, come on now, great opportunity to give them a massive wave eye. Moving in a little bit closer, get this formation departure absolutely spot on. And that is, I hear David signing off now, but that is complete. And they'll be back off into the wild blue yonder to enjoy their trip home. Heading now on the left-hand side. Across the pack and off the aircraft, tracking him over the country to combat one of the primary missions was the fourth the Vietnam War. May look an extraordinary design, but it's an incredibly flexible utility aircraft in so many different ways, as Tony will demonstrate to you very effectively in the next few minutes. The initial concept was brought together by two Marines who built a prototype in their own garage, believe it or not, to build a North American Rockwell. It went on to serve all three US marches of aviation from 1961 through 1995 on the Air Force There were original design thoughts and plans to make it amphibious, but that didn't really develop because this could be used in so many other ways. It can hold 2,001 pounds of cargo, 6 parachuters or 2 stretchers and a medic. It's also designed, it's got specifically designed landing gear for rough landings, and the aircraft requires virtually no ground equipment at all. So a really independent operator. It's got armour protection, bullet-resistant windshields and self-sealing cells also for operating in hostile environments. You can see being able to ramp up the speed. It can loiter for up to 3 hours at speeds over 300 miles an hour. Used in the United States, Broncos went to Germany, Thailand, Venezuela, Indonesia as well. Eventually on to the this particular aircraft should be perhaps in the market to find the use of Germany using the target. 18 of these were delivered in the late 60s and equipped with inside the fuselage. And then eventually the men replaced the rear cargo door and the rear seat was installed in the cargo deck to customs baggage. Everything very slowly this time, the wheel bag is going back up now. Slow speed handling, absolutely essential of course, and that helps the ability to land in those short rough strips. Back in June 2000 was chaired by These aircraft initially used by the Technische School at the Luftwaffe of Frankfurt in Germany. With his and the help of other employees from this aircraft was successfully prepared and flown productive before the explosion. Was able to engage the ground troops in a number of different scenarios. The maneuver, not a display maneuver, essentially roll demonstration, having loosed off whatever the weapons or rounds were, then it was necessary to pull up sharply and away from the threats on the ground. Get a good look out as to who's watching down there on the beach. Tony amassed thousands of hours now on this aircraft. Very passionate, committed guy, just loves bringing it around to air displays. Chance now to see agility in a different way, and this is a fantastic wing waggle. This is the biggest wing waggle I think you'll see at any air display circuit. Yeah, full 180 either side. We don't have that platform available. They were launched off aircraft carriers during the course of the war, but most recovered into landing strips. And Tony there departing off to the right-hand side. Massively experienced airline pilots. Spitting out virtually this controlled smoke system they have, which is capable of doing so much more in terms of sky timing or skylighting. Two first-class pilots performing high-octane close-formation aerobatics, including gyroscopic tumbles and all the other we've seen so many times. Got a combined aerobatic experience well in excess of 50 years in both the competitive world and air shows, and have flown all over the world as solo acts and as part of other formations as well. Leading from the front, on the radios behind me here, you say, wow, it's just an extraordinarily experienced man indeed, well over 4 decades, a font of all knowledge of aerobatics, but a consummate champion as well, and alongside him equally at top as well, champion, Michael. The show will showcase the entire pilots, both in formation and in opposition maneuvers and opposition aerobatics. Limited aerobatics with roll rates in excess of 420 degrees per second, plus or minus 10 G. Designed to build unlimited aerobatic aircraft in the world, unlimited masterclass here in very tight pairs formation work. These aircraft from the massively successful stable of Walter Extra, of course in Germany. He himself being the original EA300 former German aerobatic champion back in the late 1980s. The design was tweaked, refined and improved over all those years since, with massive sales across the globe and making one of the most popular aerobatic aircraft today. State-of-the-art avionics, a new level of pilot comfort for the aircraft, including, at Tom's request, a heater. be looking back over the shoulders, not to check their own positions, but of course to ensure that they're on the right fly line and the wings coincidental with their line. And you can see just how tight those two aircraft are together. Absolute confidence and trust in each other. And I can assure you that takes an awful lot of practice. As they come out of the loop, of course, the Jaguars on the Australia, no G's immersion aircraft. Goes in that Michael has to replicate exactly. Calling for rudder now. Yeah, look at that. Absolutely perfect timing. Superb stuff as you would expect in these masterpieces of that competition. Oh, stunning stuff. Absolutely outstanding. Initially a Slingsby Firefly and went on to win various trophies at that. Then he brought in his own Cap 232, which he flew for many years, winning the Icicle Trophy in the same year. And was speeding up now to demonstrate their own individual skills and abilities in freestyle. Rolling over the top rather than letting the aircraft fall. To one of our favourite parts of many teams, but particularly this one. This time they'll be adjusting their turn just to come back in to make sure it's absolutely in the middle before putting up together. And yes, you guessed it, it is the standing start. So, for a partner, not one, a good squeeze and a hug. Giving us all, of course, the volunteers and helpers that have made this such a fantastic weekend as well. Perfect stage. Flying this zone. Again, this is all environmentally friendly stuff, not just for aesthetics again, but also for their own safety once they put their personal smoke on. It helps them identify each individual's position in the sky as it drops down to the approach to this mixed aircraft. Finding in using the energy from that altitude, converting that into additional speed, and then giving it the extra oomph to go up into high-powered aerobatic flyers before she falls. And hangs on just get that out before letting it tail side and then tail the pop. All under control for the recovery. Now, Tom's the senior end of this partnership. Like I said, started from a very young age, inspired by his father, winning his first aerobatic competition at the age of just 14. Then went on to become the youngest person ever to be named the CAA organisation for the slope line. That means he's able to examine, observe, and then qualify other pilots to do this sort of flying at the age of 23. The very youngest ever British advanced national aerobatic champion. All over the world, as I said, as a display pilot and part of formation aerobatic team. But he's worked for me aircraft flying. And then, of course, he's not playing the third job, which is flying a few commercial aircraft in the Boeing 757 and 767. Tom about to hand over the range. You can see Michael up there waiting in the wings as of their pilot sky. Tom bleeds the speed off. Just gives aircraft a nudge, then lets it hang and literally looks as though it's in flat spin, but all under control. Covering the aircraft. Oh, and just adding a few more rolls into good measure as well. And coming in from high altitude now, once again, using that height, turning it into speed and energy to pull us into another extraordinary set of maneuvers. Oh, sliding in there at the top, actually you really need manoeuvre before then putting it through a few more rolls and keeping those rolls going as he points it back towards the ocean. Really agile aircraft. Remember, 420 degrees a second is pretty fast manoeuvring. Another beautiful slide. It's just next manoeuvre, which again is something of a masterclass of pairs formation flying. Very tight and keep a close eye on it. You'll see what Tom is about to do next. degrees of formation power. I'm pulling out now, and there we go. Very swift, very neat, very crisp maneuvers. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Starlings. Bolingbroke didn't last very long. It was respectively changed back to by the Air Ministry. An extraordinary 4,400 of the Blenheims were built, and they went on to be delivered also to the Royal Canadian Air Force, the Finnish Air Force, and the Royal Yugoslav Air Force, remaining in service in Finland right up until 1958. This run, the aircraft will then break formation with an opportunity to see each of them perform
3 to 1.
Was the mainstay with just under 1,100 of these dragons in service. It's all the rest of the early war bombing efforts, and its crews paid a very heavy price for the prestige role it was not designed for, such as the long-range fighter and night fighter role. It became very much the first multi-role aircraft. Crews very much fond of the aircraft and needing some special attention to their bravery, carrying them to the charge of the demonstration. One of the extraordinary stories to come out of the restoration of this aircraft was that of the cockpit, which was found in a completely independent operating environment, being used, would you believe, as an early electric car. Now, thank goodness they found it, because that helps speed up the refurbishment of the other parts and pieces, and much of it remanufactured, of course. Squadrons, as well as 11 overseas squadrons, including Egypt, Aden, Iraq, India and Singapore. In the course of that time, crews were converting to the improved Blenheim Mark IV, which had just entered operational strength by the outbreak of that conflict. Relatively light armaments early on, just 1.303 Vickers VGO in the turret and 1.303 Browning machine gun in the forward wing. There's not enough.
Carnival.
The aircraft remained in production for 12 years. Maiden flight took place in March 1936, and Mark I Spitfires entered Royal Air Force service with 19th Squadron in August 1938. Brainchild of R.J. Mitchell and his very, very able team. Sadly, Mitchell himself was unable to see the phenomenal success of this design. The classic elliptical wing, of course, speed and agility that the Spitfire brought alongside, harnessed with the early Merlin engines to make a significant impact on the outcome of the aerial war. Side in a knife edge, looking down you from just 100 feet as he uses the fuselage frame as an extra wing to keep him going into the start of this amazing display. Red and white Union Jack G-Whiz aircraft, and now after many years this jet fits sadly without the jets actually performing today, but nonetheless that doesn't hold him back one iota. Scott Ed played flying in his blood. His father was a famous hunter display pilot in the Royal Air Force. When Richard joined the Royal Air Force, he went to the front line in tornadoes before then taking up commercial flying. Although in those days, flying upside down as much as he does now, as you can see, wasn't so much in that form of flying. But now he does it at least 5 times a week. And maybe not necessarily always in displays, he has to be training others, he has to keep currents, he has to keep very familiar with the resources, both positive and negative. The ultimate competitive aircraft and did exceptionally well too. Made famous by some great aerobatic pilots across in the United States. One of them, Elizabeth Skelton, so well known in those days that it now hangs upside down at the Smithsonian Museum. It's outside Dallas Airport. It's another section of the aviation and space museum. So to tell us all about the differences between 40 and 50 years ago when they were even very well known in Britain, I've got Colin Hales, who's the chief engineer for Richard, who spent a lot of time, and I suspect, with Ank scratching his head. Colin, why is this aircraft so different?
Well, it's actually a 2-seat aircraft, but there's no room in the front cockpit for anybody else. We have 3 fuel tanks in the front cockpit, and that's, we have a tank for so that aircraft inside is very, very complex. It's like a micro-brewery inside there. There's plants going everywhere.
Oh, that's a great description, but clearly not a beer inside.
No, that would not be allowed.
No, that wouldn't be the right thing to do. No doubt tweaked the ailerons as well, and the undercarriage I know is stronger, and the engine is pretty beefy too, isn't it?
Yeah, we've put on a cold air induction system and a tuned exhaust. We pushed the engine basically as far as we could. And then Richard wanted more power, and therefore that was the request to bolt on the 2 jet engines.
Having blown them up, which wasn't very helpful, Colin, I think you should have done better there.
Indeed, we lost one at Blackpool. We did lose it. It was still on the aircraft, but no, we lost an engine in Blackpool, and we can't bring you the jet display today.
Okay, we'll forgive you for that. But it strikes me, having seen the 2 displays, that actually there's only a really minimal difference, and that's all about the energy and the power-to-weight ratio, isn't it?
It is. The aircraft produces from the piston engine and the propeller around about 1,200 pounds of thrust. The aircraft weighs 1,500 pounds, so there's not really quite the power-to-weight ratio. The jet engine is about another 700 pounds of thrust, and therefore have more thrust than weight. And therefore the aircraft could fly vertically and it also hover.
It's just fantastic, and we're loving this hovering manoeuvres we see here. He's got a tiny bit of forward speed just to keep the air flowing over the wings, and you can see that demonstrated by the smoke he's just put on there. It doesn't look as though it's moving very far, but it's just enough to stop it from falling out of the sky.
It made about 15 miles an hour of wind flowing over the actual air elements to counteract the torque of the big piston engine and big propeller at the front of the aircraft. If you were to come to a complete hover, then actually the torque of the propeller is almost as constant and great as the control in the opposite direction for the airframe. So indeed the airframe will rotate around the propeller as well as the propeller rotating around the airframe.
Angle it's going at, doesn't it? And this is something he has to overcome as well. But once again, just showing you the unique characteristics of this aircraft. This time he lets the weight of the aircraft tumble downhill. So this is advantageous as well. Maximum speed and therefore giving him the energy to climb upwards into another series of rolling and tumbling manoeuvres. Slick rolling it up on the way up, left and right, and then choosing another way, going half inverted, pulling then over the top and bringing back on positive G, making life all a lot more pleasant.
Indeed, Richard will be having about 6 Gs extreme manoeuvres. He's not got a G-suit on, so doing 6G, he's feeling it, he's feeling. And also the negative G, the blood will be rushing through his head. And it's something position to hold you in place. So there's two big ratchet straps as you'd see on a lorry or something. And we put Richard into the aircraft, ratchet him up.
Well, quite right now, where he's not just inverting, but he's now pushing, so the negative G is increasing as he's climbing into there. Very, very unpleasant. So the force on his shoulder straps will be very strong indeed.
Indeed. And then there's a lot of training that goes involved. Richard just can't go into these manoeuvres at the beginning of the season. He has to actually become G
Okay, you'll get it next time.
What it must look like. So a bit of a force there, a bit of a cooling moment, just getting the shorts together. A little breather, checking all the T's and P's in the cockpit, make sure everything is functioning normally before he then stuffs the nose down, puts the smoke on, and starts building up that speed again, whilst just putting in a few quick rolls to good measure. Keeping his sky herd, using all that energy, just letting the speed bleed off until there's virtually no forward speed left on the clock. And again, tries to hold it, but lets it tumble down through the smoke. Power back on, head together, back up for another high G climb. And of course you've got to pull the boot to stay within the display area. You could of course carry on doing time climb. That would have made it very shallow and take him about 2 miles in the wrong direction.
This is another corrections to remain inside the display area.
And I think we can see that drift coming in markedly. The smoke is the obvious indicator, but then the aircraft itself drifting to our left-hand side, pushes it again over the top. Flat spin, brings the spin under control, once that then comes out very nicely. Stuff, absolutely captivating. Helps immensely, of course, when you're developing your own airplane as you do. And then in this bend here, once again, pushing outbound, so the negative G really coming on strong there.
And indeed, it is his own aircraft. People believe that he bought the aircraft, but you cannot buy this aircraft. It becomes as a kit, basically. And then Richard has gone around the world getting the best components, the best parts, to extend and create the best, most unique display aircraft that we see on the display scene today.
And it is certainly one of the most exciting displays. Well, we're almost down to the last couple of minutes here. We'll put it back into this knife edge. And I don't know how much lift you get, but you do get lift support from the fuselage, don't you?
Indeed, there's thrust there coming from the propeller as well, but the side of the fuselage is acting as a lifting moment. You see the airflow in the smoke, and that will actually add lift to the airplane.
Runways as well. And once again now demonstrating the hover even much longer. You see the aircraft twist under those gyroscopic conditions that can't keep floating, but you're managing to hold it level now with just forward speed. Very little the aircraft dropping slowly. Well, there we go. Let's unstall it. And that's Richard Gwynn signing off with his usual wing waggle. jet pits. Well done, absolutely superb. And our thanks to Colin there for giving us a bit of inside information. Really, really valuable.
And as Richard depart, must also depart. Thank you very much again for a fantastic atmosphere, fantastic weekend.
Yeah, I'm glad. We'll be putting it through its paces and a varied number of turns, wing overs, a few barrel rolls, maybe the odd half Cuban. We'll just see what he's going to say. All the pilots have a whole bag of display manoeuvres they can put in depending on the wind and the conditions of each day. The iconic Jet Prov has trained literally tens of thousands of British military pilots for 4 decades. Aircraft is the very last registered as 324, which was whiskey 324 that is, and the pilots were training aircraft as well. Also featured in 2 common teams at the time, the Jaguars and the Swords. Many people will be familiar with the Mark III we occasionally see on the display circuit. The whole family going back to the mid-1950s when the Royal Air Force issued a requirement for a new dedicated jet training aircraft. That was to replace the the Percival Provost. And the genre first flew in June 1954, the prototype out of Newton Airport, which the airmen showed at Mark 1s. For them to appreciate
It's a damn tiny one in it.
for something like
Scanning. Target located. Target locked.
featuring a more powerful Armstrong sizzling fighter jets, and a few other redesigns for the airplane as well. All culminated in 1967 with the pressurized T-5. During the latter part of its service, this aircraft flew as a navigation trainer at Royal Air Force Fittingly before being retired in 1993. Through a number of civilian owners before being purchased by the very well-known Jeff Bell in 2007. They put a massive amount of work into it, as you would imagine. Carried out a painstaking restoration, and as you can see then, it's immaculate current condition in the beautiful sunlight we have. Now wearing the markings of its final service assignment with number 6 Flying Training School. That was at Fittingly.
Got it. Target located. Target locked. Target lost. Scanning. Target located. Target locked.
Our training system. When the JP was in service, every pilot would fly the aircraft, often starting on the slower Mark III before progressing to the faster Mark V. This particular aircraft, though, is a Mark V-A, and the difference being predominantly the addition of the tip tanks you can see on the end of its wings. The ability there to give the aircraft longer endurance for longer sorties to teach future navigators of the Royal Air Force.
Take.
4.8
again.
turn.
High up. Target locked. Target tracking.
David John, as his full name is first, was born in Southport, Connecticut. His right career interesting in the Royal Navy flying helicopters in the Fleet Air Arm. Became a fixed-wing instructor, however, on the Firefly and the Tutor. And then as an examiner with a central flying school, where he played a pivotal role in introducing the Royal Navy. That was transferred to Royal Navy. There's a training and standardisation.
High up.
Looking at the ocean, checking his speed and altitude and at the bottom.
Target lock.
Spent 2 years flying the Tutor, which you saw earlier on today. But his real passion is doing what he's doing right now, flying vintage aircraft. Also flies a range of historic gliders, pistons and jets, as well as this Mark V. And a lovely slowish roll there, hanging in his straps for a moment before fading back out to sea. Quite comfy, the T5, slightly larger, got a bigger canopy as well, and of course the pressurization, making it a lot more comfortable at higher altitudes.
Target lost, target lost, target lost, target lost, tracking. Target lost, target tracking. Target lost.
DJ now just positioning around this right-hand corner. This will be his final pass. You know what to do. He'll be taking a quick peek out of the cockpit as he goes by, so do give it a big wave and a cheer. All these guys giving up a lot of time at weekends and of course travelling around the country as well to make the deadlines for these air displays. So David John Gibbs in the Mark V, a jet provost.
Target tracking. Target lost.
Courtesy of Rolls-Royce, they come all the way down from East Midlands Airport. They're busy boys, and these are two very special aircraft indeed. Cementing the great history that Rolls-Royce has had in developing not just combat aircraft, but of course half the world's aircraft and commercial fleet that we see. Here, coming into our right-hand side, please welcome Merlin Formation.
Target lost.
And of course the artifacts that go with them.
Target lost.
We'd love to
scanning.
companies where they can showcase in their historic background design work and engineering excellence, but also encouraging youngsters to get involved to all the STEM promotional activities they do with media, visits and other promotions and around air displays all over the country. But of course, as we've seen with the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight and the Blenheim Formation, it is also all about telling the story of and commemorating those who have fought for our country. The aircraft positioning shortly as they come around the turn, they'll be braking past. We'll see the Spitfire go through its paces and then complete in the Mustang. Mark 11 earlier on, that was the unpressurized version, but in the same role. This one, however, slightly different. The Mark 19's unarmed high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft. This one was one of the batch of 79 Mark 19's built at Supermarine in Southampton. Powered, of course, differently, powered by the 2,000 horsepower Griffin 65 or 66, and representing the absolute pinnacle of the Spitfire's development in terms of speed and altitude capability. They were top speed of 440 miles an hour and a ceiling of 42,000 feet.
Lost all those nice reports. Also not ready.
V1 and V2 Vengeance weapon launch sites. At the end of the war, he remained on duty in Germany right up until March 1946, when he came back to the UK and was placed in storage. So you may have heard my reference to the Thunderbird. Meteorological research. Mark 19s, this whole time ceremony and display duties set to go on to form that very historic flight before running up today's Battle of Britain's Memorial Flight.
Target locked.
Rolls-Royce bought the aircraft in 1996 to replace one of its own Mark 14 Spitfires. Now painted in number 16 photographic Coruscant Squadron colours, part of the 2nd Tactical Air Force, which the aircraft wore between January and June 1945. Jim just coming to the end of his solo display now. We'll give you one more flyby. He tries to give him a wave here. Almost certainly put in a roll before he departs, so he'll be upside down as he looks at you. But this is the first half of the Rolls-Royce Merlin formation. The wonderful Mark 19